Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you guys how to make glass in Unreal Engine. As you can see here, this glass material is quite versatile. You can change the color. So let's say we wanted to make it red. We can do that. You can change the opacity. So let's say you want it to be fainter or, thicker. You could do that. Then you can also change the roughness, right? So let's say you wanted like more of a frosted, hazy effect. You can get that. And finally, we can even change the normal map, which does some interesting things. Like, let's say we wanted to use water. Pick the normal map for water. You get this interesting warping, or perhaps for wood, right? And then this is more obvious when the roughness is down. You can see wood etching in the glass. So that's just a neat little effect. So to make the glass, you create a new material. Call this one glass tutorial. And now you want to go to the material domain, and under the material domain, there's blend mode, and you should change that to translucent. Now we're going to go all the way down and change the lighting mode from volumetric non-directional to surface translucency volume. Now, I'm going to create, just hold down 3 and click. That'll give you a vector. Right click and convert that to parameter, and we're going to call this one color. I'm going to go over here and make it white for its default value. Connect this to base color. Now for metallic, we're just going to hold down 1 to make a constant, and we're going to change its value to 1 and connect it like that. For roughness, we're going to right click, convert this to parameter, call this roughness, and hook that up like so. And its default value will make 0.3. And then its min will be 0 and max will be set to 1. And actually, let's make the roughness 0. Now for opacity, I'm going to do the same thing. Make this a parameter and call this opacity. Its default value will be 0.5 with a min of 0 and a slider max of 1, because that's opacity for you. It's just a scale of 0 to 1, so there's no point making the values higher or lower than that. Now, here's where it gets a little complicated. So we're going to make a Fresnel node, and we're going to make a lerp node, so just hold down L. Connect this to the alpha, and connect this to the refraction. Now we're going to make 2 scalars. So the first one, we're going to make 1 and connect it to A. The second one, we're going to make 1.33 because that's the index of refraction for glass. So if we convert this to parameter, we can call this index of refraction. And there we go. And now there's one more thing. So if you hold down T, get texture sample, hook this up to the normal, and convert to parameter. So that way it can be dynamically changed. And we'll call this normal. Now for default, we can just use black. This should be in the starter content. So if you have starter content enabled for your project, you should have this. Now we're going to hit save. All right, so with the material saved, we can right click it, create a material instance, and open it up. Now change the preview mesh to sm_matte preview mesh 02 or 01, doesn't really matter. Right, so now we have a nice preview mesh so we can see our changes. You can just check all of these boxes, which are the parameters that we set. And now if you want to change the normal, for example, let's use steel. You can use this one, and you can see you get an interesting looking texture shows up on it. Right, this looks nice. Now, for the color, obviously, you can just make it whatever you want. Make it nice and dark. And the opacity, let's say you want to make it really thick. Just drag the slider up. Give it at 1, it's just solid. So if you wanted to make it like, let's say you wanted to have a sci-fi helmet and you wanted the visor, right? You'd do something like this and have the opacity set to 1 so that you couldn't see through it. Right, but we're going to leave this at like be 0.8. Now for the roughness, you can just, looks a little bit weird when you have such a high opacity. And this is a kind of a weird mesh to use glass material on. Normally, like let's say it's just a circle, it looks pretty normal, right? It's just because of the faces. So yeah, that's it.